In this episode, I'm going to show you how to use FoxyProxy to get more information about your Elastic MapReduce jobs. So let's get started. When running EMR job flows, you'll often want to check the status of the jobs that are running. Here we can see the steps the EMR job is running, the bootstrap actions, and the monitoring tab has a fair amount of information on there, but nothing that really tells you how the jobs are progressing. Not to mention, it also takes a while to populate with data. This is where the job tracker web interface comes in handy. One way to access this is by SSHing into the node and using lynx. Lynx is a text-based browser. We can go in and, we need to manually accept a cookie. Let's choose always. We can drill into the details, see the tracker, which takes us again to the task tracker. Another cookie that we need to accept. Okay, let's do it. While this works, I find it kind of cumbersome, limiting, not really the best interface. Instead, we can use FoxyProxy and view the interface directly in the browser. FoxyProxy is a Firefox add-on. I think it's also available in Chrome if you prefer. To install it, just search for FoxyProxy. And you want to install the standard version, not the basic one. Just restart Firefox and voila! Now we have a new FoxyProxy icon right here. Click on it, and what we want to do is add a new proxy. And this is going to be a proxy from localhost on port 8157 to the remote machine. And this is going to be a SOX5 proxy. Next, we want to add some URL patterns. There's 4 in total that you want to add, and I'll include them in the show notes. The first one is for the subnet. This is matching anything on the 10 dot whatever address pattern. The next one is for localhost. And then we want to add one for the EC2 external DNS names. You'll notice the second star there is to take care of any region you're running in. And then finally, EC2 internal DNS names. Okay, so there's the 4 that we have added. And just check that use proxies based on their predefined patterns and priorities is set in here. Otherwise, any address that you go to will be routed through this proxy. Okay, so now when we SSH to this, we want to add -o dynamic forward equals 8157, that same port number that we used for the proxy. And this is basically using SSH to tunnel the traffic over to our machine. So now we're actually going to go to this address in Firefox. Boom, there it is. You can see the nodes, the task trackers, what they're doing. And you can see all of the jobs that it is running. Go into the completed ones, into the individual tasks itself. Here's the really useful part. You can see the log files, and when you have an EMR job that is playing up, that is probably going to be your best source of information. This also works for the HDFS web interface as well. And if you bootstrapped your cluster with Ganglia, you can also see the information that it produces. So you can see the load on this particular cluster. Drill down into that. And you can see the individual nodes. This machine is currently under a little bit of load, so let's go take a look. And you can see that this is quite CPU intensive. This also has load metrics, memory metrics, network metrics, pretty detailed information. Now for those of you running HBase, this also works. So let's quickly bring up an HBase cluster. And don't forget to install Ganglia as one of the bootstrap actions on this as well. So now once again, let's SSH into that HBase cluster. And go to localhost port 60,010, and here is the status of the HBase cluster. Now if you want to drill into an individual region server, it didn't work. This is where we need to add one more rule to FoxyProxy for compute internal. So let's go and do that now. We'll add one more pattern, and this one is for compute. And just add the stars around that. Great, now refresh and we can drill down into the individual region servers. Again, there's plenty of information available here. This doesn't replace any of the EMR monitoring, it just gives you a lot more of it. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you found it useful.